I want them back.
The director of Happy Feet is back with a new movie, Furiosa. Just joking. We all know him. We all love him for all the other Mad Max movies that he's made. But this is going to be a no spoiler review for Furiosa, so don't worry about that. Before we get started though, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It's free to do so. And I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Helps me out a lot. And I'm going to read you guys a quick plot synopsis just so you know what the movie is about. Snatched from the green place of many mothers, young Furiosa falls into the hands of a great biker horde led by the warlord Dementus. Sweeping through the wasteland, they come across a citadel presided over by the immortal Joe. As the two tyrants fight for dominance, Furiosa soon finds herself in a non-stop battle to make her way home. So I guess you could say this is like the 5th movie in the Mad Max franchise, because they had the first 3 Mad Max movies with Mel Gibson, then you had Mad Max Fury Road, now you have this one, which is the prequel. And I actually watched the first 3 Mad Max movies for the first time last month, which, you know, they have some ups and downs, let's just say that, and they're not really my favorites. They're not ones that I'll really go back to and watch a lot. And you know, Fury Road, we all know, we all love it. It's like probably my second or favorite action movie of all time. I don't know, but let's just say I watched it 4 times in the last week. I'm kind of addicted to Fury Road right now, but I will be doing a ranking on all these Mad Max movies in the coming week. So look out for that on the channel. I have a lot to talk about with those, because even Furiosa, there's a lot to talk about with that movie. And I do want to kind of talk about, you know, how Fury Road compares to it. But man, it's just such a sprawling journey, all these Mad Max movies. Even though I don't count the first 3 in this kind of like canon universe of, I would say, Furiosa and Fury Road. I think those are 2 separate, like, kind of universes, because I think that Fury Road is kind of a reboot. I don't know why. I don't think people should really count those as the same universe as the first 3, but you know what I mean. And George Miller, as I said, he's directing this. He's of course going to be back because he's mostly known for the Mad Max movies, but he also has a lot of different diversity with his films, because I actually grew up with his 2 Happy Feet movies, which have a lot of love put into them, and they're actually really beautiful. I went back and looked at them before getting ready for this video, before seeing Furiosa, to just go and see how they lived up. And you know, they have a lot of beautiful shots in there. Some of the musical scenes, some of the dance scenes are really great. You know, I grew up with those and they have a special place in my heart. Some people may know him from directing Babe, Pig in the City. I don't remember if I've seen that. Maybe I saw it once when I was like a child, a long time ago, but I really don't remember that movie at all. I gotta go probably watch that again. And you know, before Furiosa, he did, of course, Mad Max Fury Road, but he also did 3,000 Years of Longing, which I forgot that he directed. And I forgot that came out because I really didn't like it. I found it dreadfully boring. As much as I love George Miller as a director, I thought that that movie was just, it just wasn't good. It wasn't really my cup of tea. I know some people really do love it, but for me personally, I thought it was just a really big departure of what he usually does with his movies. Even, you know, something like a Happy Feet and Babe, this is such a really different movie. So I'm happy that he's back with the Mad Max universe with Furiosa, because that's where he was born. You know, that's what he's born to do. But he actually, funny thing about him, he was actually a doctor also. So he really has a really interesting career going for him. And I love that his direction in Furiosa is back to the standards of what I loved from him in Fury Road. It's riveting and it never lets off the gas pedal, which is crazy, because Miller is 79 years old. Could you imagine a 79-year-old making a movie like this? I couldn't. And you know, when I look at him in interviews, I don't really see him as 79. Like, he doesn't really look 79 years old. Man still got a lot in him, I think. Yeah, I think he's gonna be making movies for a decent amount more time. And I would love to see him fulfill the end of this kind of, you know, reboot trilogy with another Mad Max film. Even, you know, he said they'd maybe do a Mad Max prequel film or even a sequel film. I think it would be really cool. I think it would be awesome to see him fulfill that trilogy. I hope he does it. I would more or less like a prequel film, I think. Or a sequel film would be cool, but I'd love to see a prequel film. Just, you know, because this one kind of leads right into Fury Road. So it'd be kind of cool to see a prequel Mad Max movie lead right into Fury Road also. And yes, Furiosa, this is an origin story, a prequel story, which I have seen some people get really upset about in the comment sections of the trailer. Some very weak-minded men who have called this woke, which is such a stupid word to use in any argument. It's like the most common word used, and half the people don't even know what it means, and half the people just use it because they're too lazy to find any other words to use that actually require them to be smart. Some people are crying that, you know, oh, it's a woman, it's not actual Mad Max movie. I want a Mad Max movie. That's what they're saying. And I'm like, You have three Mad Max movies already. You have Mad Max 1, Mad Max 2, Mad Max 3, Beyond Thunderdome. Then you have Mad Max Fury Road, which is kind of like a split movie between Mad Max and Furiosa. But at the same time, you basically have four Mad Max movies already. So why are you crying? You just go watch all those other Mad Max movies. You'll be fine. You'll be fine if Furiosa gets one movie to herself. So, calm your ass and stop crying. You might get a Mad Max, you might get another Mad Max movie. So just calm down, maybe wait a little bit, and actually just go see movies for the quality. Who cares who's leading the movie? Who cares if it's Mad Max? Who cares if it's Furiosa? I just go into it if it's good. And this one was really tremendous. Like, oh my goodness gracious. This is like a true odyssey. Like, once I got out of this movie, I was like, yeah, this is a true hero's journey, true odyssey. It's told in 5 chapters, which is something new for the Mad Max movies, because Fury Road isn't really told in any chapters. Its story is actually pretty thin. It's just a whole big chase scene going around in a circle. This one is a whole story, whole kind of like 20 years kind of it takes place in. Feels like George Miller is adapting a novel in a way that he just kept me locked in through each chapter. I know I was just leaning in through every single chapter, especially the last one. The last chapter, oh, it's so good. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the CGI, because a lot of people have been talking about it through the trailers and all that. A lot of people have been asking. Yes, some of the CGI sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's polished in a way, and compositing and blending is just off in a way that kind of takes you off for a little bit. But I was so locked into this story, I kind of stopped noticing it as much and just was really tuned in with the movie as a whole and Furiosa as a character. So yeah, some of it sticks out, but some of it is also really great. I feel like that's bound to happen with a movie at this scale. I mean, Fury Road has some great visual effects, great practical sets, but that movie also went through hell in production, and it probably cost Warner Bros. A lot more money than it did cost this movie. So maybe they had easier job with production if they were going to use more green screens. Even though it did stick out more, they probably had a better time in production wise on this one. And action wise, George Miller, as I said, he's approaching 80 years old, and he is doing action on a level some young directors would dream of doing. It's the type of stuff that keeps you locked in your seat, and the type of moments where you think of that meme where he's just locking in, kind of leaning closer into the screen, leaning closer off the chair. That was me throughout the movie. I was like, oh my god, I'm just leaning in even more, because all I can say without spoiling anything is that there's a sprawling action scene on like the Fury Road that took them like 70 days to film, I think they said, and it was glorious. And there's a big action scene in the bullet farm, which was delicious. There's so much stuff that I couldn't pick up on the first watch, so many details, because I was just there's so much stuff to look at, so many stuff on the sets. I was like, I can't pick this up all in one watch, so I'm hyped to see it again. I want to watch it all unfold one more time just to find all the details there. And while the score from Junkie XL isn't as loud and good as Fury Road, I still felt it a lot in the big moments and really liked it. Because it's not, I guess it wasn't supposed to be as loud and as energetic, because it's not really a whole chase movie, the whole movie like Fury Road is. It's a really just some very intense sequences at some points, and very heartfelt sequences, very kind of emotional sequences in here. So there's a lot of different kind of instances with the score here. So it's very different than Fury Road, but I still do like that Fury Road score just a little bit more. Let's talk about, the main cast members. Let's talk about Furiosa herself first. Aliyah Brown actually plays young Furiosa, who is actually in about 45 to an hour of the movie to herself before we get to Anya Taylor-Joy. I feel like Aliyah Brown, I thought she did a great job. She kind of looks really similar to Anya Taylor-Joy, which was kind of crazy, but I really did enjoy her scenes. Really liked how she was really locked into this. And then once you switch over to Anya Taylor-Joy, it's like a whole different, feels like a whole different character, because you skip a lot of time to get to her. She's gone through a lot at this stage. She's learned how to really fit into this style of this world, and learned how to use a lot of different weapons. And she, oh my gosh, Anya Taylor-Joy, she's one of my favorite actresses right now. She's so good. Anything that she does, she did The Northman, The Witch, Last Night in Soho. Her acting is great here, and she doesn't even have a driver's license, but her driving here is absolutely insane. And what she does with her eyes in every single movie is just something to really think about, because the emotion that she conveys with her eyes here is great. Because as George Miller said, she doesn't have a lot of lines in this movie, but man, her eyes convey a lot of what she's trying to say. And you could compare Anya Taylor-Joy and Charlize Theron's Furiosa, but honestly, I think they all put in great work. And I like how George Miller didn't cast Charlize Theron in this role. Just wouldn't make sense, because Furiosa is much younger at this stage. And Chris Hemsworth as Dementus was everything and even more than I would wanted. He's such a silly villain and such a charismatic villain. I just was loving him everything because his one-liners were so crazy. But it makes sense because these people in this wasteland are absolutely insane. Like they losing just brain cells every single time wherever they're going. And he just wanted to keep fighting. He really did. There's this one scene where he's has a one-on-one with Furiosa in a way. She just keeps hitting him. He's like, I can take it. I can keep going, whatever you want to do here. And the way that he kind of, the way his story ends is like something I was not expecting. I was like, what the heck? That's insane for him to end that way. But it was just insane. And, he made everyone laugh like every single time he spoke a full sentence, which I think that's good. So sometimes you really have to have these silly villains, these kind of out of pocket, extraordinary villains that go over the top, and especially in the universe that's going over the top here. So I think that he really worked and kind of just made it feel like a comic book come to life with so much of this sprawling action with like a comic book type villain that was just kind of silly, but also kind of menacing at the same time with how he just takes down other people, how he just wants everything for himself. So Chris Hemsworth, man, this might be one of his best roles. And Anya Taylor-Joy, I think that this might be her best performance. Yeah, I think they both put in one of their best performances. Yeah, I was really impressed with both of them. And man, I really do love what he's doing here, Chris Hemsworth wise. Because Thor 4, I felt really bad for him for how that movie landed, especially because the script and direction of that by Taika Waititi. But I'm happy that he's back on the map, getting some great more reviews here. And Taylor Joy, I can't wait to see what she does next, as she always just picks great movies. And hopefully she'll be in the next Dune. Fingers crossed. But man, she really, God, she's so good. Furiosa comes in at around 2.5 hours, about 220, just not counting the credits. And I think that, the thing about this, I'm not going to say that it's poorly paced because this is only on first watch. But I think it took me about 15 to 20 minutes for me to get fully into this movie, get fully into the story. But I'll see how that changes on rewatch because maybe I'll really appreciate the first 15, 20 minutes more on rewatch. Maybe I'll still feel the same. If I do feel the same, then maybe it could have been shorter. Maybe you could have cut out some of the earlier life moments with her. At the same time, I don't know how to fully feel about the pace until I get that second watch. And I'll definitely be going for a second time because Furiosa, oh, what a movie. What a cinematic movie. This is what you got to go experience on the big screen. Just like what we said with Dune Part 2, this is meant to be witnessed on the big screen. I saw it in IMAX. I don't know if you have to see it in IMAX because it's not in that expanded ratio, but that sound was just blaring of the cars and all that. Some of the action scenes are just sprawling, went on for forever. I was like, this is just all I would have wanted. And Anya Taylor-Joy is just everything that I needed, even more. Chris Hemsworth villain Dementus is so funny, so crazy, like a comic book villain come to life. George Miller's still got it. Hopefully he does another Mad Max movie after this, because man, he just turned out some great movies. I cannot wait to go see this again and again and again. Hopefully it gets better on rewatch. Hopefully you guys go see it. But Furiosa, I'm gonna give it a strong 9 out of 10. I really did love this. It's like in my top 3 of the year so far. Oh my goodness. Dude, these vibrant colors in these movies really do get me going. And I just cannot wait to go watch this again. I think go see it tomorrow. But yeah, so many great scenes in here to just remember. Hopefully you guys do see. If you do, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to talk about it with you guys. And if you did enjoy my review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.